Well, thank you all for coming here on a very, very brutally sunny day, brutally hot day. I'll tell you, it's much better than being here in the middle of the winter, if that's any consolation. It's really good to see people here representing some diverse groups. It's an honor to have some of the Burmese monks here showing solidarity with the Tibetan people. And they are some of the monks who were actually taking part in leading the Saffron Revolution in Burma in 2007. So it's a great honor for us to have your presence here with us. With the Shanghai Expo and with the Tibet Pavilion, organizing the Tibet Week starting today, they're trying to tell the world that Tibetans in Tibet living under Chinese rule are happy, are satisfied, they are free, and they are prosperous. But we know, like the Tibetans inside Tibet know firsthand, that the reality is very different. And that's why we are here, to tell the world and to tell the Chinese government that the reality in Tibet is different, and what we want for Tibet and what the Tibetan people want for Tibet is something very different from what the Chinese government is trying to create in Tibet. So although they are calling the exhibit Heaven in Tibet, the reality of Tibet is what His Holiness the Dalai Lama very aptly called a hell on earth. And this is what the real Tibet has become today. So by being here, by our presence, we are sending a message to the entire world that the Tibetan struggle goes on. We are sending a message to the Tibetan people inside Tibet that they are not forgotten. And it doesn't matter how many people are here, because this is a movement that is taking place internationally. And people across the world in many different cities are remembering this occasion. They are coming together to observe this moment, to expose China's lies, and to promote the message of freedom that the Tibetans inside Tibet are trying to voice. And that's why our program today is going to be a little bit different, slightly different from our usual political rally that we have been coming here to do all these years. And today, part of what we want to do is read some of the messages that are coming out of Tibet. In Tibet today, Tibetans, especially in the aftermath of the Tibetan uprising of 2008, the Chinese government has launched this assault on Tibetan intellectuals, Tibetan writers, poets, musicians, artists. So what we can do to support these people, what we can do to promote their message is we can read their poems, we can listen to their messages, we can watch videos that they are putting up on YouTube. And by doing that, our goal is to popularize these writers and intellectuals to a point where their messages will become heard and seen by everyone around the world. So eventually, the Chinese government, by arresting these people to silence them, are actually going to achieve the opposite of what they intend, because the messages of these people will be heard by everyone. And as we start, we have a few people who will be reading poems written by Tibetans inside Tibet. And as we listen to those poems and essays, we'll notice that they will consider 3 different kinds of themes. And this is the story that the Tibetan revolution has been following in reality as well. Starting in 2006, 2007, and 2008, the Tibetan people across 3 provinces, in spite of all of China's attempts to divide the Tibetan people, the people are actually feeling more and more united. And this unity has found expression through the lyrics of some really popular songs that Tibetan singers inside Tibet have sung. And many of us have also had the honor of hearing them or watching them on YouTube. So this message of unity has been resounding from Tibet, across the Himalayas, through the exile world, into the Tibet support world. And this unity has given birth to a pride in being Tibetan. And after 50 years of being told or being brainwashed by China's systematic destruction of Tibetan culture to think that being Tibetan is not cool, or Tibetan is a dying language, Tibetan culture is dying, or Tibetans are backward, Tibetan religion is backward. This is what China is telling the Tibetans for the last 50 years. And in spite of this message, Tibetans across the plateau and across the world have shown that we are feeling more proud than ever to be Tibetan. And with the combination of this unity and pride in being Tibetan, what we have begun to see now is a vision that Tibetan people share for their future. And whether it's Tibetans inside Tibet or outside, the vision that we share is that of a free Tibet, a peaceful Tibet, a prosperous Tibet. And many of these messages that we are hearing now, they are beginning to comment on how to realize this vision. So, in a way, I think the Tibetan struggle has come a long way for the last 50 years. But the transition and the shift that our struggle has gone in the last 4 or 5 years, that is completely revolutionary, and that has a force or strength that no amount of Chinese military or control apparatus or propaganda machinery can stop. And because of that, what the Chinese government is doing in Shanghai now with the Shanghai Expo and the propaganda that they're trying to give out on Tibet, they're kind of fighting a losing battle. And in many circles, I suspect that they themselves know that their rule in Tibet only has a limited life remaining.